All right, let's start with the West. Start with the West. So I'm going to start with the play-ins first and how I think the play-ins are going to go. How do I think the play-ins are going to go? So to start things off, we got the Pelicans, OKC, Lakers, and Minnesota. And I do think the Lakers are a problem. I do. They're not a normal play-in team right here. I do think Minnesota could be a problem, but based off how I think the matchups are going to happen, not so much. If you have either the Nuggets or the Grizz in the finals, you're a bitch. All right, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Um, so first things first, let's knock out the play-in. Let's start with the losers, the Pelicans versus OKC. This one is honestly an easy one for me. I think the Pelicans are. Yeah, I know Rudy Gobert is. I think the Pelicans are out. Off rip, Pelicans are getting knocked out by OKC. Shy's gonna destroy them. They're gonna win by like 20. The game's gonna be over like with 9 minutes left in the fourth, I think. Um, OKC wins, and they're gonna go play the winner of or the loser of 7 and 8, right? So OKC's gonna move on. Pelicans are done. Pelicans are out. Lakers, Minnesota. Honestly, I think Lakers were winning even if Rudy Gobert was playing. Um, there's not really much to break down there. I think Lakers are too big. I think it's playoff time. Um, LeBron James is not losing a play-in game to uh, Minnesota. It's just not happening. Plus Minnesota, I mean, they gave up what's his name, some of their weapons right back to LA, so it doesn't even matter. What's his name? You know who I'm talking about. Who do you guys have, Dirk? The kid from Minnesota. He was a Laker, then he went to Minnesota, then he's a Laker again. So he's back. God, I can't think of his name. Either way, Lakers are beating Minnesota, and I thought that even if Rudy Gobert didn't get suspended. Um, so boom, Lakers move on here. So Lakers, I have down here playing Memphis, the Grizz. Okay. And then I have the OKC versus Minnesota matchup. That's gonna be a close game. Um, I want to say Minnesota should win that game. Yeah, D'Lo, that's who I was talking about. I want to say Minnesota should win the game against OKC, just experience-wise, and you know Rudy Gobert's coming back for that. I think Shy and the Young Guns are gonna win and upset them. I think they are. I think they're gonna ride the wave. Uh, so I put OKC versus Denver in round one, and then I got Lakers and Memphis here. So let's just start top to bottom. So I got Denver, OKC. I know Vanderbilt. Lakers have a little bit of depth to them, which is going to be good for this playoff run. Denver, OKC. Jokic isn't losing in the first round. Period. I think he has too much to prove now. In the past, the past couple years, he's won his MVPs. He's not gonna win it this year. Embiid's gonna win it. Um, he's not gonna win it this year, and I think the media and everything is starting to get to him, in a good way, negatively, but in a good way, where I think he's gonna be on a little bit of a vengeance tour this playoffs. Uh, because it's going to dictate a lot. I think this is a big playoffs for not only Denver, but also Jokic specifically. He needs to win. He needs to beat teams. He can't have a first or second round exit. And I don't think he will have a first or second round exit, to be quite honest with you. Denver versus OKC. Um, I can see some games getting interesting, but I'm going with Denver. Denver's gonna beat the young kids, OKC, and I think they're just gonna be they're too big. Denver's a big team compared to OKC. Um, I think Shy and what's his name, Giddy. I think they're gonna have their little performance, so I think they're gonna take one. However, I think Denver's winning this one in five. Denver's winning that one in five. All right, Phoenix Clippers. I can't wait for this series. Paul George. What up, Shifty? Shifty! Appreciate the sub, baby. Appreciate the sub. You're here just in time. 9 months? 9 months? 4 month streak? Appreciate you, baby. I had a Denver OKC matchup in round one. Denver's winning in five. Next, we got Phoenix Clippers. I think the series is more interesting with Paul George in the mix, obviously. But with that being said, I think this is another. You can hear numbers. I can see colors. I can hear numbers. What is Ninja talking about over here? I think honestly, this series was gonna play out pretty close, pretty similarly, regardless. If Paul George was in or not, I think it's gonna be a good series. I think games are gonna be close, but I think the Kawhi's gonna have his moments. They're gonna steal 2 games. They're gonna probably win a couple at home, but I think Phoenix is gonna beat them in 6. I think um, Kevin Durant, Chris Paul, and I hate Chris Paul. I honestly hate Phoenix, period. But Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Ayton, I mean it's gonna be too much for Kawhi and Westbrook. Hey Shifty, don't worry about it. We're getting to it. So I do have Phoenix beating the Clippers in 6. I do think the Clippers are gonna take one at home and then steal one at home. I think that, but I'm even being very beneficial to the Clippers in 6. I do think it's gonna take 6, but I won't be surprised if it's 5 either. Honestly, I can see a sweep happening too. But I'm gonna assume that the Clippers are gonna play to their potential, and I'm gonna say this is gonna go 6. But Phoenix is gonna have control of the series the entire time, so it's not gonna be like crazy, like intense. But you know, I think I can see like Phoenix going up 3-1, and then Clippers go, 3-2 in it, and then Phoenix closing it out. Clippers versus Golden State. Clippers versus Golden State. I mean, not Clippers. Sacramento. I just don't hope. I just hope KD doesn't hurt himself during practice. If he does, I don't think it really affects the series too much. Then I think it's for sure 6, Phoenix. And you're gonna see here in a minute that it's not gonna matter, anyways. But Sacramento, Golden State, another. I think this is probably gonna be one of the better series to watch in this first round. Actually, I don't know. All of this section is gonna be. I don't even know, bro. The playoffs are gonna be fire this year. I ain't gonna lie. The East has some weak first round matchups, but there's a couple good ones. But the West is gonna be fun. If Wiggins comes back, it's not even close. So I'm gonna just keep it real. Sacramento's winning this thing. They're too good on the offensive side, and Golden State has no defense. So it's gonna be an offensive shootout. We're gonna see the highest scored games in this series in history. We're gonna have a game that's like 170 to 162. It's gonna be shootout. Golden State ain't winning this. Kings are better offensively. They have Sabonis. I don't know who's supposed to stop Sabonis besides old man Draymond Green, and I think Draymond Green is gonna get exposed. I know, it's a big take. I think Draymond Green is gonna get very exposed in this series. Just age-wise, not like, I don't like the guy, but not it's just his age is gonna show in this series. I do think the Kings are gonna win a playoff series. I think De'Aaron Fox is. I don't think this year was a fluke year for De'Aaron Fox. I think this dude's gonna be a problem like in the league for the next few years, or for the coming years, not next few. Frieza said Kings on top. I do think the Kings are gonna win this series. They're gonna knock out Golden State. But here's the thing, and mark my words, a lot of people are gonna have Golden State, but the Kings are gonna get out in front and they're gonna start beating them, and everyone's gonna hop off the Golden State wagon and act like, well, Sacramento was supposed to win this series. No, they weren't. People are going to hop off the Golden State bandwagon with the quickness. I think Golden State, their run, I think their season kind of showed what they're going into. I do think they're a complete team coming into this, outside of Andrew Wiggins coming back. Steph Curry's going to have his unstoppable games, but I do think he's going to have a couple 24-point quiet games. I think Clay's going to have a couple off games where the dude has like 17 points to his name. I think Jordan Poole's not going to show up on a couple games. I think Draymond Green is going to be getting a couple tees and fouling out and freaking foul trouble early in these games. And I think the young Kings and Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox and those guys, I think they're too young, they're too quick, they're too athletic, and they're pretty like experienced. We're not dealing with an OKC young guys. These guys are like hungry. OKC is young. The Kings are hungry though. And I got the Kings winning. And I think it's going to be a thriller. I think it's going 7. It's going to be a thriller. I think Golden State has some inconsistencies that are going to get exposed, and that's why they're going to lose out. I think it's going to be one of the best. Hey, Dirkus, I won my work pot because I put UConn in the final. Metro went from COD to NBA, and that was, Jesus, and that was, whatever, bro. Oh shit. Hold on, my bad. All right, so I do think it's gonna be a thriller. Listen. I'm a just analyzer. Yeah, Ninja. I'm hopping on after this. I think. Look, Curry's gonna have his 40-point game. Clay's gonna have his 35-point game. Poole, I don't know. Poole's, I think, gonna be ghost in this series, but Golden State's going to win their games, and they're going to probably win convincingly a couple of these games because they're going to be lights out, shooting out. And the problem is De'Aaron Fox is a beast, dude. And Sabonis is a beast, bro. And he's too big, and I don't know how people expect 36, 37-year-old Draymond Green to stop Sabonis, who can shoot, mid-range, post up. He's too big. Draymond is going to be in foul trouble a lot this series. Period. Let the baddies pull up on pull. He's going, bro, this guy. Sacramento wins in 7. Sacramento wins in 7. Memphis Lakers. Memphis Lakers. I think Memphis is good. I think Memphis is good. I think Ja is good. I think as a team, as a unit, they got some good chemistry. I think the Lakers are a problem, though. I think the Lakers are a problem. LeBron, AD, and company. And company. And there's a lot of company. I think LeBron is going to take a second option seat. And this is going to be AD's series. I think AD is going to have his moment here. AD is going to show signs of old AD. I think there's a lot of supporting cast members that are going to actually help. And I think the Lakers are going to pull a stunner and come out of this. I think the Lakers are going to beat the Grizzlies, and here's the thing. A lot of people aren't going to pick the Lakers. Well, right here, there's a big percentage for, yeah, it's between Minnesota Lakers. I'm assuming Lakers. I just think a lot of people are going to have Memphis on this, and as soon as the Lakers start clicking, because they're going to click on this run, I think they're gonna click and everyone's gonna be like, oh, well, yeah. Like, why did we pick against the Lakers? It's LeBron. Why are we going against LeBron and AD? And I think the Grizzlies are gonna fizzle out, much like the Clippers up here. I think it's gonna be one of those things where it was like, I think Memphis is gonna raise a white flag. Rube, we got Fort coming on right after this. So I got Lakers, and I think we're gonna have a good series out of this. It's gonna be a nail biter. There's gonna be close games. We're gonna have the highlights. Lakers, Memphis, Lakers, Memphis. We're gonna have the whole thing, okay? However, I do think Lakers are gonna get away. I do think Lakers are gonna get away. I don't think it's going 7. I think Lakers are winning in 6 here. So now I got a Denver, Phoenix, Sacramento, Lakers. Let me go down to the east. Let me get down to the east. I got Lakers in 6. Milwaukee. All right, so let me start with the play-in. We got Toronto, Chicago 9 and 10, and we got Miami, Atlanta 8 and 7. I'll just start with the 9 and 10. Toronto is better than Chicago. And in one game, Toronto is going to beat Chicago, and it's just as simple as that. So Toronto is going to move on, and Chicago will be eliminated tomorrow night. With that being said, Miami, Atlanta. I want Atlanta. As a Celtics fan, I want Atlanta. But now I have a second reason. I'm getting tickets if Atlanta wins this. Atlanta's 2.5 hours for me. I want Atlanta to win. Not only because I think they're going to be easier than the Heat, but also I want to go to these games. So I am praying for Atlanta to win tomorrow. How likely is it? I think the Heat are starting to come together. Realistically, I see the Heat winning tomorrow. Realistically, I see Jimmy Butler winning. He's already talking like he's about to win a championship. And yeah, exactly that. I think Ice Trey, I think there's too much drama and stuff in that org. and I don't think he's going to be Ice Trey tomorrow. I think that boy's going to fold, and he's going to give us 24 points tomorrow. He's going to shoot like crazy and brick like crazy. He's too small. The matchups, I mean, the Heat have too many weapons. I do think Collins is the best guy on their team right now. They do have the big guy. What's his name? I just don't see the Hawks beating Miami tomorrow night, though. I think Jimmy Butler and the Heat, they have something to prove. Plus, they have the same roster that our bubble, they had their bubble run with, and then last year, Game 7 against the Celtics, which I think is a fluke. I'll get more into that in a second. But regardless, Miami's winning tomorrow. Um, and Miami's advancing. That'll put Atlanta and Toronto. And again, if Atlanta doesn't win tomorrow, they're getting knocked out completely. They're not going to beat Toronto either. So Atlanta has to win tomorrow to make the playoffs. They have to beat the Heat tomorrow somehow. Yeah, I could post on Twitter. If they want to be in the playoffs this year, they have to win tomorrow. If not, they're out because they're going to lose to the Heat tomorrow. And if they lose to the Heat tomorrow, I see Toronto beating them to go play the 1 seed Bucks, and Atlanta will be out, moving Toronto to go up against the Bucks. So let's just go down the line. Milwaukee, Toronto. I'm not going to waste a lot of time on this. I got Milwaukee in 4. I'm not going to be disrespectful to the Bucks at all. I'm not even going to play that game of Toronto could steal one. I don't think they are. I think it's going to be a disgusting sweep, and a lot of people are going to, I think, every morning you're going to turn on Stephen A. Smith, and this guy's going to be talking reckless about how the Bucks are going to win the championship. But it is going to be slight work. Yes, sir, Torch. I know this is your team. It is going to be very slight work for the Bucks against Toronto. It's not going to be close. I think every game is going to be disgusting, and I think the Bucks and Giannis and the starters are going to get a lot of rest for their next series on this first round, just because Toronto doesn't stand a chance. And vice versa. Let's say Atlanta upsets Toronto. Even worse. It's a 4-0 either way for Milwaukee. Milwaukee's one of the best teams in the league, period. They're the number 1 seed in the East, best record in the NBA for a reason. I mean, it's a 4-0. This series, one of my favorite series. My coworker is a Cleveland fan. This is gonna be the best series in the East, first round matchup by far, and I think it's gonna be close. And I think the matchups are perfect, and I think the guard play is gonna be great, and I think the stars are gonna show out the whole way through. This is gonna be a thriller series, arguably. I mean, I have this close one. I think this is the Sacramento Golden State and the Cleveland New York Knicks are gonna be the 2 best series in round 1. And I got Spida sending Cleveland past round 1 in 7. This is gonna be a thriller. It's gonna be a thriller. Cleveland's winning. It's gonna be a thriller. Philly, Brooklyn. I'm gonna be honest. Embiid's gonna win this MVP. It's gonna fuel him. He's gonna be locked in. James Harden, Embiid are about to light the hell out of Brooklyn. Brooklyn committed highway robbery with the trades they made. I agree. They're gonna be good in the future. Right now, not so much. We're not gonna waste too much time on this. I can see Brooklyn maybe winning 1. I think it's going to be a whole like breakdown for Philly for Brooklyn to win, but I'll be respectful. Yep, I do think Miles Bridges, like I think it's going to be a fall apart for Philly and everything's going to be clicking from Brooklyn, and I think they're going to steal one, but I got Philly in 5. Boston, Miami. Boston, Miami is they're hyping it up. They're hyping it up. Playoff Butler. Playoff this. They're back. The chemistry. Blah, blah, blah. Listen, I would rather play Atlanta than Miami. Tatum can't play hero ball or they lose. I would rather play Atlanta than Miami. But just like I was with the Bucks, we need to be realistic about the Celtics. The Celtics held the 1 seed and the best record all the way up until February, the whole season practically, and lost it at the end. Celtics are one of the best teams in the NBA. They're on a revenge tour. They're coming off a finals run. I do think Miami is going to get one. I think they're going to get a Jimmy Butler performance thriller OT in Miami, and that's about it. I got Boston winning 4-1. This is the Miami bubble run was a fluke. Last year was honestly a fluke. It was an injury ride out. We had no Smart, no Rob. Tatum was deteriorating in that Miami series, playing hero ball, and Jimmy Butler and all these, what's his name from Toronto, the shooter, something Vitch, shooting lights out and winning games against Boston. I think it's a 4-1 Boston. And that's me being generous to Miami. That's me being respectful and respecting game. But I think like they're gonna win one when it's like a 3-0. It's not gonna if it goes 3-0, it's a sweep. But I do think Miami could win one. You know what? Boston's better than that, bro. They're winning 4 games in a row. They're gonna click early. Boston's gonna click early. It's gonna be a 4-0. Back to the top. Denver Phoenix. What did I say? This is Jokic's tour. This is Jokic's year where he proves everybody that he's not a first or second round exit. This is where Jokic is gonna really make the claim that he's one of the best players in the NBA. He's won 2 MVPs. And he's had a first, second round exit every year. That's the argument against him. He's going to play like he wants to win a championship, period. And he has a great supporting cast to help him. And Denver's big. They got a big team. I think they lack a little bit of depth, but I think the Phoenix show is gonna turn into a one-on-one all-star show where KD's gonna have the ball in his hands a lot, trying to take over, meaning Booker's gonna have it out of his hands. Chris Paul is gonna be putting up his 4-point, 7-assist games where he's just non-existent the whole game. Then you're going to have your Booker games where he's going to put up 26 and KD's going to have 18. It's going to take the ball out of their hands. They're going to go through trial and error in this series, and Denver's just too rehearsed right here. Denver's too rehearsed, and I think this is the breakthrough for Denver and Jokic. I think it's going to be close. I think Phoenix, you still got some of the best players on that team, but I got Denver in 6. Sacramento versus Lakers. Sacramento versus Lakers. It's going to be a good series. It's going to be a good series. The problem is, what did I say about the Kings? What did I say about the Kings? They're hungry, dude. They're hungry. I think you're going to get a glimpse of mid-season Lakers here where AD is going to be quiet in a couple games. LeBron is going to take a back seat, and you're going to rely heavily on Reeves, D'Lo, the supporting cast members to have big games. But I think I've watched De'Aaron Fox this year. I don't know why people don't think the Kings are more of a problem than they already are. Like, I don't understand why people just think the Kings just landed in the 3 spot in the West. De'Aaron Fox, first of all, has a clutch factor like I haven't seen before, and I'm not saying that in a weird fan fiction way. De'Aaron Fox, in the games I've watched, the dude hits and he has a clutch factor. Number one defense in the league. Number one defense in the league is not going to stop the number one offense in the league. I hate to say it. You're going to have to guard the perimeter and the inside. They play from every single spot. I think you're going to see. I think this is going to be a frustrating series for you, Dirk. I think it's going to be a frustrating series because it's going to be a close series. It's going to be a close series. This is another game that could go the distance. However, however, the hunger moves on in 6. Kings in 6. This ain't, this is not no fairy tale princess Cinderella run for the Kings. The Kings are a problem. The Kings are a problem this year. People keep sleeping on the Kings. They're gonna beat Golden State, and they're gonna beat the Lakers. I'm not gonna lock it right now because I need Lakers to make it. If it's a when it's a Kings Lakers matchup, we'll lock it. 100%. I do think it's going to be a good series and close games, and I think the media is going to paint the picture that LeBron is back. You're not beating LeBron. You're not going to beat LeBron. LeBron has too much experience. LeBron, the king, is back. He's going for it. He wants to win. He wants another chip. He wants to show I think the media and the narrative is going to be there. It's going to be there. Once they win this first round, it's going to be there. But De'Aaron Fox and Savanas, those boys are going to put on a show. Kings in 6. Milwaukee, Cleveland, it's going to be a good series. It's going to be a good series. Spider's going to chop them up, but it's not going to be enough. Spider's going to have his games. You're going to see the back of Spider start to break in this series because I think Spider is Donovan Mitchell's gonna have a career playoff series against Milwaukee, but it's just not gonna be enough. The Lakers are too good. You can't even say that seriously. This bracket is bullshit. I put the Lakers all the way in semis, bro. Milwaukee is beating Spida. And I think Giannis is gonna have his little vengeance tour. Um, I really, man. See, they got the other guy with Spida too. I'm gonna go Milwaukee in 6. I think Middleton is a problem for the Bucks in a negative way. I don't think Middleton is as good as everyone thinks he is right now. Um, and I think honestly, Middleton just uh takes the ball out of Giannis's hands, which I think is a problem. I think the ball should always be in Giannis's hands all the time. Um, so I think they're gonna lose 2 games to Milwaukee, but again, Milwaukee's gonna have control of the series the whole time anyway, so it's not gonna be anything like sketchy. Milwaukee's gonna win that. Philly versus Boston. I think this is gonna be one of the better. I don't know. All these series are gonna be good. Outside of this one, outside of this one, um, Boston Philly is going to be a good series. I think I think Boston has Philly's number, and I just think they're gonna come in with a game plan, and they're gonna lock up Embiid. Harden's not gonna be enough. He's not gonna adapt. Harden's not dropping 40 this whole series. Um, and I think by this point, Tatum, Brown, these guys are going to start heating. Like, you're going to start seeing championship level basketball being played by the Celtics in this series. And I think Embiid and the Sixers are going to push them to that level. But I do think they're going to be at that level thanks to Philly making it a good series. But I think you're going to start seeing Tatum and Brown like lock in. They're going to be. So I'm going Boston. And honestly, I can see a breakdown by Philly, so I want to go Celtics in 5, but if I go Milwaukee in 6 to Cleveland, I'm going to have to go Boston in 6 to Philly as well down here. Let's get to the top. Denver, Sacramento, Milwaukee, Boston. This is going to be one of the greatest series of all time, but this is Jokic's year. I think the hunger, it's going to be lights out. One of the best series we've seen. One of the best series we're going to see in the playoffs is going to be Denver Kings because of the passion and everything to prove. Both these teams getting to the finals for the first time is going to be monumental. Denver's taking this one in 7. It's going to be too much travel for the away seed here. LA, they're gonna lose it at home in Denver. Jokic is gonna take it. Milwaukee, Boston. In my opinion, Milwaukee and Boston are the top 2 best teams in the NBA overall. I'm gonna be honest, from the very beginning for the past few months, I have not had a West team in the discussion for a chip. Whoever comes out the East is winning the championship. Whoever comes out of this side of the bracket is winning the championship, whether it's Boston, Milwaukee, or Philly. But let's be realistic. It's going to be Boston or Milwaukee. These are the 2 best teams in the NBA. By far. By far. When you look at the losses, both for Milwaukee, but specifically Boston, they're flukes, dude. They're flukes. Okay? Boston lost to the worst teams in the NBA. Missing players, this, that, and the other. It's going to be a good series. Um, I think the Giannis Jokic matchup in the finals would be great. Um, but I truly do think that Boston is the better team. We got a quick glimpse. Now, I never base anything off of one game. Never, never, never. But we did get a glimpse of a breakdown from Milwaukee against Boston. Both teams put all their players out there and try to send a message to each other, and Boston sent a mean message. I think that's in their head. Boston's coming off of beating them last year. I mean, you really have the same rosters except Middleton. Middleton's here, and people argue that if Middleton's there last year, they beat Boston. I disagree. I think Boston wins a game earlier if Middleton's here. I think Middleton takes the ball out of Giannis's hand. Period. And I think as a Bucks fan, Torch, and just a Bucks fan and as a Bucks team, you need the ball in Giannis's hands as much as possible. Giannis needs 40-point games. I don't care if you make him the point guard dribbling up the court. The ball needs to be in Giannis's hand. Middleton, uh, I don't think he makes that much of a difference. I think this series looks a lot like last year's series. I do think it's going to go the distance. I think they're going to exchange some mean punches at each other. I think we're going to see breakdowns. We're going to see highs and lows. It's going to be a roller coaster of a series again. However, this year, Milwaukee does have that higher seed again. Um, my only problem with that, with taking the bias out of it, taking the bias completely out of it, is Boston plays the same on the road and at home. They're good away and at home, which a lot of these teams that we're looking at, a lot of these teams do not play good on the road, period. Bucks play okay on the road, but Boston is unfazed on the road. Like they look the same away and at home, and I think that's the only thing that kind of just doesn't, it takes away that home court advantage mindset in this series. It's going to be straight up just throwing punches at each other. I think Milwaukee has proven that they can steal games in Boston. Boston has proven they can steal games in Milwaukee. It's not really going to matter. I think it goes 7. Giannis is going to be playing football. It's going to piss me the hell off the whole time. I'm going to be on Twitter the whole time, and I'm going to be watching Giannis shoot 20 free throws a game because he's going to be freaking body checking his way to the net. But I do think Boston overall has the better team. But I think the series looks a lot like last year's. Um, the only difference is I think Tatum and Brown are going to be more keyed in coming into this series. I think last year Milwaukee stole a couple games that shouldn't have been stolen. Like it went 7 and there was a couple off games where I just feel like Milwaukee stole it because Tatum or Brown didn't play well. Um, One specifically, the one they stole in Boston. Milwaukee won in Boston, where we were leading the whole game, and then they just folded, and Tatum went dormant in the last like quarter and a half. He scored like 4 points or something, and that was the big turning point. Was when Milwaukee robbed that game, and then Tatum goes to Milwaukee and drops 40 and skull drags him in Milwaukee and steals the game back, but I don't know if I see that game happening for Milwaukee. They do have the 1 seed, so I honestly think it's just a trade fest. I think Boston's on the revenge tour. I think Golden State's their kryptonite. Golden State is not here. I got Boston in 7. They want to get back to the chip, and they don't want to get back to it. They want to win it this year. Boston Denver final. Boston's putting banner 18 up in 6. Boston's putting banner 18 up in 6. Boston is putting banner 18 up in 6 games. Boston, it's going to be, and if Milwaukee comes out of this, Milwaukee's putting up a chip. Whoever comes out of this series is winning the championship. Whoever comes out the East is winning. I think Boston is going to edge out Milwaukee, and I think when they're not going to lose they're not going to lose 2 years in a row in the chip. Um, and I just Boston has Denver's number. They beat them all the time. I honestly kind of see the finals being sort of boring either way if Denver makes it through. Um, I just think you're going to see a locked in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum trying to win a championship this year. And I think Denver, Jokic is going to have proven enough just by making it. So you're going to see the satisfaction level of Denver making it and Boston needing to win it. And Boston's going to have that edge and they're going to win. They're going to win it. I need to submit. Sign in. All right, Torch. Whoever comes out the East, they win it in Game 6. I agree. I agree. If Denver makes it, which I do think Denver's gonna make it. Um, yeah, I'm getting on for it right now. I'm getting on for it right now. Loading it up. That's my bracket, gentlemen.